Let's talk to international borders expert Henry Bolton. Good morning, Henry.
Morning, Kevin.
Yeah, what about that? It was the beginning of the week when we suddenly, big surprise, with the legal aid money that bizarrely we give these migrants to hire immigration lawyers to come up with claptrap like, oh, they're terrified of water. You know, these are lies. That's what's going on. We gave them money to hire lawyers who tell lies about these people to get them to be able to say. That notwithstanding, the government did say, well, you all get on board in 24 hours, otherwise, or we remove government support, which they didn't say what that means, but it would, I would imagine, involve no more legal aid. It would involve the cancellation of their asylum-seeking applications, which the government did say. In other words, they would be finished. Quite what would happen to them then, God only knows. But what about that? They said 24 hours. No sign of them cracking the whip on that basis so far.
I have no idea what that would look like, Kevin, because if that happens, then the government withdraws legal support and so on, or legal aid, then you're going to have all the charities stepping in. They'll be funding it. You'll still have it dragging through the courts. We end up with more of a mess still. And, you know, earlier on you were sort of talking about the ECHR. One of the fundamental problems here is that the legislation that's been drafted that gives government and the various authorities powers in this sort of case, it's just badly drafted law. So because it's isolated, it's standalone law. There was a time when law would you draft new legislation and it revokes previous legislation, or it revokes parts of it. Now we've got layer upon layer upon layer of legislation. It's confusing, it's complicated, and there's a whole load of holes through it. So, you know, there's plenty of opportunity for legal challenges. And so I have no idea, really, what the Home Office is talking about when it says, after 24 hours, they're going to withdraw support, because they're not going to withdraw support totally, or support won't be withdrawn. It'll be replaced by somebody else. So the whole thing is just a shambles from start to finish. You were just talking about the Metropolitan Police, Kevin. You know, there is a failure of leadership there. These people who are commanders in the Metropolitan Police, they are commissioners in the Metropolitan Police and other police forces and the fire service and even the military now, we've seen it in the RAF. They think they are there to manage these organisations. No, they are not. They are there to lead in a dynamic, visionary manner, so that you're using their personality and their drive to deliver results. They're failing at every level.
Let me ask you this, Henry. You know, when the migrants get to France, if they're lucky, they get a tent. When they get to Britain, you know, the government says, well, if you don't get on that barge, we'll withdraw government support. Well, many people in Britain, probably including me, or definitely including me, say, well, why do we give them government support in the first place?
Indeed. Well, look, we've got a fundamental problem, haven't we, Kevin? That, you know, we all, I think, would open the door to really deserving, needy refugees. People who are literally coming to our shores, having directly fled from persecution, torture, death, warfare, drought, whatever. We would help. But we know that these people are economic migrants who are playing the asylum system.
They're lying, aren't they?
And they are lying. And now we know also, it's recently come out with these small minority of lawyers who have been coaching them in how to do that. We know that they are being taught and guided through the process of abusing the system. Now, the government it can't sit there and start sort of wringing its hands and saying, oh, well, we're going to, withdraw aid, or we're going to do this. There needs to be some dynamic, courageous decision-making here, and it's lacking. And that's the problem. I just don't see this changing until we have that sort of approach by government.
Absolutely, Henry. Henry, great to talk to you. That's Henry Bolton, international borders expert.